Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Ladies and gentlemen, our kids content panel, big round of applause.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you both the anchors, doing a good job.
Thank you so much.
Nobody must have said that to you. Okay, great. Okay, just a question to the audience here. So whatever audience is there, how many of you have kids? So just raise their hands. Oh, so non-kids wale bhi bahut hai yahan pe. Good. And in how many of your homes do kids decide what you buy? Just one hand? No, more than that. So, like he said, obviously kids play a very important role in deciding a lot of things in the household today, right from buying a car to what mobile to your clothes rather than theirs, and obviously a home also at times. And television plays an important role in their lives. And for broadcasters and for advertisers too, kids are very important. So my eminent panel that is sitting here, all of them, each one of them has been striving very hard to work on addressing this target audience, the kids. And let me just, I just want you all to give them a round of applause first before we begin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. So my first question, obviously to begin with and to start with, is to the broadcasters first. The importance of characters. Anu, you're Motu Patlu, you're Rudra now, and you're Little Singham, Uttam. And well, there's a tongue twister, so I've written Ban, Budh, or Budhba. So after this session is over, he'll probably give that to you as a tongue twister. So all that I want to understand from you all is the importance of characters and why do you create it? How does it really help? Any of you can begin. And then I want a Kavita to actually say in something after that, because here are two characters and here is more of, characters are there but they are more international. So it'll be a good discussion too, and good to hear from the three of you all on this.
Well, for all of us rather, I would say the journey started with all the international characters. I mean, if I go back 13 to 14 years back, we were all following a model of acquisition, it was simpler, it was cheaper for us, that we would go out, pick up best of shows and get them to India. But as things progress, and it's a very natural journey, which is the children accepted everything that we gave it to them 13, 14 years back, because it was a very new genre for us. But the natural progression was, once they got used to of this content, they started demanding, they got more choice, they got used to of this particular genre. For the first time, they got exposed to the content which was specifically created for them, which specially catered to them. They were not compelled to watch something which was not really meant for them, but they had to watch it because there was nothing which was being made purely for their need.
Was there a research before you created a content?
Sorry?
Was there some kind of a research that you put in before you did something?
There was a research. Yeah. There were other shows which were being done in the category, very far and few. The local characters were being created, but most of them were in mythological space. So it was, as I said, it was a natural progression. It was bound to happen that once they got used to of it, they started demanding more. And it was no rocket science for us to figure it out, for all the broadcasters to figure it out, that obviously the local characters which are created with local and local sensibilities will have better resonance with children than anything that we go and acquire from outside. We were able to tell the stories, or we rather decided to not just create the characters with which the kids could identify themselves with. We started telling stories with which they had far more, with which they could relate easily. That's how the progression started, and it was, as I said, this was a natural progression. It was bound to happen, and today we are at a stage where I don't think any broadcaster can afford to go out there and, you know, even strive to achieve any success till the time we don't have the local content or local characters which is driving the channels.
Uttam, from your, you know, your channel being an edutainment to wanting to create a little Singham, if you can just give us a little bit of a background on that.
Not just edutainment, actually you're very subscale channel Discovery Kids in that sense, like, you know, in 2017. And for us, the journey has been very short, but very nice and very phenomenal. And I think the whole point and the whole success which we've seen, like, you know, is primarily through characters. Characters stay with you. Like, you know, it's not just when you're a kid, but even when you grow up, they stay with you. Like, you know, you could go back in nostalgia and connect with the characters or cartoons you used to watch. So that kind of a connection you create, you know, when you're really at that age. So for us, Discovery Kids, what was really important was that we were never able to create that character which will connect with the kids first thing, and then also tell the story. So this is something which we really redefine ourselves. In 2018, we, like, you know, we introduced Bandbud and Burbak on Discovery Kids, but we also launched our own co-production, which is Little Singham. And that sort of, like, you know, really brought in the success for us, not just in terms of viewership and ratings, but also, like, you know, with regards to the brands who wanted to associate, like, you know, with us, and also with Little Singham on that. Started telling stories through characters which were more relevant and local, or, like, you know, it just turned, like, you know, story around completely.
So, Kavita, both of them have very strong characters. Both these channels can identify. So I can still say a Motu Patlu, and I can still say a Little Singham. Now, what happens when it comes to Chutti TV? You all are still, you all still work with international characters. You all are still more the international, you know. So what is your take on this?
As a brand, I think it's so connected to the roots, but still give wings to fly. Similarly, we took the same approach to the kids channels. We thought, like, you know, our kids should sense the world around them. You know, a series called Heidi, which we bought from Studio 100. A kid from a rural village cannot see a Swiss Alps or a, you know, culture set of Heidi unless, you know, the series is happening in India. Similarly, like, you know, whatever we wanted to give them is the reality also, not just fantasy and adventure. If you talk about the big bad wolf in Red Riding Hood and Sher Khan in Jungle Book, and actually speaking, these animals are disappearing. We just wanted to tell our kids that, you know, this is fantasy and there is reality also. That's the reason we started acquiring content, and we've got around 80% of content which has been acquired from different content providers.
So, both my advertisers sitting here, one is an advertiser, one is an agency. What a lovely combination we have. So can I have your view on, you know, what the three of them have said on the characters?
So absolutely, I agree that these characters play a very, very important role in our life as well, because in the media mix, from a media planning point of view, this is where the rating is. So if you see the 90% of the kids genre rating is actually coming from these cartoon and animation. So to strengthen the plan and media, to drive effectiveness, these characters plays a very, very important role. For kids also, these characters are actually, they're hardcore loyal to, but their loyalty is actually periodical. So 3 months they're actually focused on this thing. They need constant stimulus to actually come again and again to watch these characters. But I completely agree with my fellow panelists that these characters plays a very, very important role in building the channel perception.
Lokesh?
Yeah, I think, so they pretty much summarized. So, the only watch out as an advertiser I normally have is that, is there an over-reliance on the character for a particular broadcaster? Because as a brand, when we get connected to our consumers or our viewers, we would want the stickiness to be there, at the same time not overpowering the brand. But there are integrations that have been done in the past. There are in-show integrations per se, wherein the character has helped the brand, the character has elevated the brand experience, and has also, during the end of the campaign, has contributed to the enhancement of the brand sales or the brand track index per se. So I think, yes, character will, and most of the broadcasters nowadays run a peril of being identified with the character rather than the channel name in that way.
Yeah, yes. So again, coming back to the content bit, obviously the kid attention span is really less. While you all have created characters, while you all have done so much. So what is it that from a broadcasting perspective that you all are doing to get the kids to be on your channel and not to go across to the competition, not your competition, but probably to the GCs? What is it and how do you all keep them engaged? As in the various content that you all have.
See, today, if I have to say that, how do we lose the child to a competitive category? I don't think children are very keen to go on to the competitive. It's a compulsion that they have to, because as some of the panelists, the last panelists that they were talking about, we still are, India is still a single TV. Household.
Yes.
As I said, today one of the reasons why this particular category has seen the kind of success that it has seen is because for the first time children found a content which is being made to specifically cater to their needs and demands. They are watching, at the same time I'm not dismissing that they are not watching the GC content at all, they are, but a lot of them are also watching because they don't have an option.
Today, they watch a lot of GC because they go on to GC more than they come to you. It's like that.
That's also because it's a single TV household. So they are also compelled to watch the co-viewing with the parents. They're doing it out of compulsion, probably not so much out of option. Now channels like movies are a big attraction for them. Something that I don't think any of the kids channel really are playing out the Hindi, the big Bollywood films. So that of course will remain a big attraction for them. What we do to bring, as I said, today, if the very fact that characters like, for us, a Motu Patlu, a Shiva, a Rudra today, is so huge with children, is they are able to identify with these characters. Today and the beauty of these characters is they are not just restricted to television. The beauty of these animated characters is they translate extremely well in various other genres. For instance, taking them and developing video games around them, developing consumer product lines around them. And it's the success of these characters which really attract the attention of the children, that we are able to develop these different, business lines or whatever that we want to call it. It translates very well into them, and slowly and steadily the kind of popularity that the kids category is gaining for almost past 10 to 12 years. It is because the children, we are able to catch the attention of the children because there is a content which is being specifically produced for them.
Yeah, Uttam.
I'm just adding, in fact, the attention span on these characters is, in fact, a lot more. Rather than getting distracted. Given a choice, the kids, because they would sit for it for hours and just consume the content. And this is same thing, which we've seen, with Little Singham, is because we made the connect with the kids. And it was very strong. You see a cop around you who's an authority figure and you present it in a character which is and that's the top 5 choices across India, for the kid to become as a cop because he's got that power, authority, and you present it in a nice story in a Little Singham manner, they've connected so well. And that association is so strong. In fact, we've seen the issue which becomes is that when now animation, the journey of it is actually a little tough because you're creating that and it takes time. And we can't create an episode in a day. So that's where, we are trying to figure out, how to close that cycle. We are creating, hundreds of episodes of Motu Patlu or Little Singham, across that. So for us, if you're given a new season, we launched it, we've seen a great spike, not a diversion of any attention from them.
So is it more animation?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm sorry for cutting you there, but just to add to this and to bring to that point, as a matter of fact, we had experimented one of our network channels, which was Rishte, and the data is out there, was that there was a block of the shows that we have, what Nick has been playing, which is Motu Pattu, Shiva, Pakram Pakrai, all these, they had created a block. And this was done during summers or so. I don't know the exact month, or I don't remember the exact month, but it happened this year. Now this is a GEC, but the top show for I think good 3 or 4 weeks the top show across the category in free TV were the animation shows. And this is not just 2 to 14, this was 2+.
2+.
So that is the strength of these characters, that is the strength of these shows, and which is slowly and steadily the other categories are also realizing the power of these characters and the power of animation, because yeah,
that really works.
See, it works both ways. If sometime children are compelled to watch what parents are watching, it works the other way around also on some of the GC, where parents are compelled to watch something that kids are watching.
We go back to the single TV home every time then on that. Okay, Kavita, I think you were discussing with us that it was very something interesting that you did, which was totally out of the box.
I think today, no period in history has been so very child-oriented than ours. And they are no more passive viewers. They've become the generation of co-creators. So they just want to create something along with the content. And whatever content we acquire, we always take an extension from that. Even though it's acquired, we give a local connect somehow to that Western, we still buy homogeneous content, but treat it in a heterogeneous way. So I think, like, you know, going forward, I think whatever we do, we really need to take them into consideration that they are techno freaks. They can handle some 2-3 things at the same time and create something interesting. And we have done a new format called Run Singh Run, which is, you know, a motion captured live action show which happened on TV live, where the caller can become the, you know, co-runner, like, you know, he can become the participant and he can play the game from their homes, like, you know, through the mobile phones. And that has become a huge hit. And I think, like, you know, some formats like this, like some augmented reality shows, or probably we need to try some new formats and see whether, you know, this can bring some new audience.
Interactivity at its
Interactivity,
Yes,
yeah.
just an example, not the same thing, because this is pretty cutting edge actually. And if you have a really kick-ass character who's telling a story and you could do that interactive with the kid, I think that would just shoot off. But with Little Singham, when we launched it, it was a great success on television, on Discovery Kids. And then just like, you know, in 3 months' time, we also launched a game. And we saw the same success with the game also. Within a matter of 3 months, like, you know, we had like 5 million downloads. And currently, like, you know, it's even crossed, like, you know, a lot more on that. So point is, once you create that connect with the character, for the kid, you know, they would want to connect with on different mediums too. Like, for example, this cutting edge technology with television, or whether it's a game, or whether it's consumer, like, you know, merchandise provided, or even for advertisers, like, you know, through promotional or licensing and merchandising on that front.
You know, I would say that recent example of Netflix, where they basically gave the option to viewers to change the story or the ending. This is a brilliant example that how we can actually increase the engagement. So kids are actually very loyal, and their attention span is really, really high when they are watching their favorite programs.
The data shows that.
They really observe, and they want to be, they're actually, these characters are their role models. But the point here is that how we can actually build engagement by bringing these new innovative formats. And the example which you gave was really good, that how to actually create interactivity when they are actually watching the program.
Yeah, Lokesh. No, you go ahead.
No, I think engagement, interactivity will prove, because kids nowadays are very fickle-minded. So pardon me, because I have a 9-year-old at home, and after the age of 6, he just stopped watching cartoons. So because it's the same story, the insight always says that there is this guy who eats laddu and he fights a bad person, and he ends up winning every time just because he eats laddu. And I'm bored of this story, because sometimes they'll bring a Rakshasa, they'll bring someone else, or there'll be some Nag Devta coming in. But I'm bored now, give me something. So the channel that he subscribed on the YouTube, and that's what caused him to wean out of the TV, was he went on to YouTube to search content. And then he started looking at DIY things. He just started looking at the content of unboxing toys. He started looking at what are the toy trends going across. And the next time when he comes back with a list of things that he wants, then I am under the soup. Because he wants a toy that has been launched in Europe, and that toy is not in India. Yeah. So that kind of an interactivity, or the kind of freshness in the content, according to me, will be beneficial for the audience, more for the advertisers as well, because that gives you a chance to increase consumption, that gives you a chance to take your product to a much more meaningful level.
Okay, so I think we are going to be really running short of time. It seems they're not giving us too much time. So let me come to the most important question, which is basically for the two of y'all, Mayank and Lokesh, okay? The complaint here is that the category is totally under-indexed. Okay, the advertisers are not looking as much as they should with a lot of efforts that's going on from their point. So I want to understand from you all, what is it that an advertiser would look for in the kids channel?
See, I would say that there are 2 points. One is currently it contributes, as you said, that's only 3% of the overall index. Yes. And one is the main important thing is the measurement, because right now most of the planning agencies or planners are actually consider the kids genre as a long tail channels. And because of that, it doesn't feature in terms of in the media mix, in the planning channel mix. But if you see that these genres actually drive a lot of efficiencies and build incremental reach for my plan. So one is the perception, we really need to fix that. And the second part is that, yes, rating is bread and butter for us.
And the perception on what? I mean, what is...
That this genre can actually drive efficiencies and effectiveness. And the other way to prove that, and which what we were discussing, is that how we can actually move away from only looking at the BARC rating. Can we basically look at some third-party measurement or
but
from
for that the answer is
lifts?
if you as a planner are ready to look at them, they are ready to put in that kind of effort.
That was a very great
There's
example.
a lot of effort as it is from their end.
From a broadcaster point of
I'll
view,
speak
yes,
from their
there will
side.
be investment, but I think that actually will tell the advertisers that whether it has actually able to move, this investment has been able to move the needle up on the brand scores or not.
Uttam,
I think the very great examples
Kavita,
which
any
Anu
of you
also
want to
mentioned
counter that?
just now, like, you know, that on a GC category,
Yeah.
there's animation
yes,
shows on the
there's
top.
GC category.
Like, you know, so given that power, I think there's something which, like, you know, is not connecting. I believe, like, you know, it will connect. Like, the efforts are still on. We are still creating our heroes. We're not letting it go, even though it's under-indexed. Like, you know, the effort is still on. But the power of animation, like, you know, for other countries, I would say, some of the European countries, animation is actually the biggest, like, you know, like an export from them. It's like a source of, it's a GDP. But here we are creating our own heroes out here, and out of a minimal budget, whatever we have, and great success stories. I think, like, you know, it's time for you guys to...
I'm very happy that there's a lot of investment happening in the localized content. But I think if we really want to basically fuel the growth and take it to the next level, then we need to figure out ways to innovate. I think the best thing is here to say is that broadcaster needs to be always in constant state of beta. You know, they have to keep on trying new formats, innovative options, which will actually bring the advertisers back with more money.
But if I can, sorry, if I can just ask one question. This is, I know I shouldn't be, but how do you measure that, as you said, that brand going, you know, going a notch higher with GCs? I mean, out here, what we can easily claim is that the characters are so strong. Because they are so strong, hence they are lend themselves very successfully in various other mediums, which is whether it's video games, whether it's consumer product lines, whether various other platforms, the products get utilized. How is it that an advertiser feels, how is it that they measure it in terms of the GEC, how that is going? While we cannot compete in terms of reach, and we completely agree, I mean, we cannot touch the reach of a kids channel cannot touch the reach or comes anywhere near the reach of a GEC. But then how do you measure that brand? Isn't there that it's only the BARC which is being used as a measure?
Absolutely. Right now, the BARC is bread and butter for us.
Sorry, that's exactly what we were saying.
So from speaking as an advertiser, I think there's a case in hand right now. 2 years ago, we decided to go on the English GEC with a toy brand, which is Barbie, and we partnered with MasterChef Junior. It was a leap of faith, basically. Everybody said that you've gone crazy, but our objective was very clear, that you are going to impress moms who are watching, co-viewing the content with their kids. And the kids, as we said...
Would you go on their channel if they do a MasterChef similar?
I've said that earlier also, and it's actually open for any conversation in future. But the thing is, you have to be very confident about the kind of content. And as Anu said, it is compulsion viewing. According to me, you can find a middle way out, which is viewable, inviting for both child and a parent. There should not be any compulsion. And we went with a leap of faith. And what we saw, that the kind of feedback, engagement, and finally the biggest metric, which the buck stops where. We doubled our sales in the particular kind of metric that we put ourselves into and the product that we put ourselves. The reach, probably I'll sell more number of dolls compared to the reach that I got, but the frequency went up. The gatekeeping actually stopped. And the way it started getting into conversions, and that's where I say, bark rating, and one suggestion from an advertiser to the kids genre broadcasters is that most of the times I see broadcaster sales team coming and saying, you know what, I'm number 3, I'm number 1, I'm this TRP, I'm this, and my character is this. Let's start talking about business metrics over there, because the media managers and the agencies will keep talking about it, but at a strategy level, you'll have to think about what a brand wants, and end of the day, it's always sales and not only the brand or the reach.
They're saying the time's up, but I still have a lot of questions in card. So, okay, I'll just just a question which is going to be a mix of everything. Original content versus local versus international versus Bollywood. I'm just leaving it open because here is one person who says international content quite a lot. You all have done a lot of original. He believes in a lot of Bollywood. And then I want to know from the advertisers also what they think about it.
I guess if I have to say, we started our journey from where they are right now. We started with all the acquired content. As I said, it's
the need for going original more now on the percentage.
It's because today the audience is spoiled with the choices. I mean, you know, as they say, first you filled up your stomach. Now you're going to get choosy. Initially, kids were happy to consume anything that a broadcaster offered. Slowly, the consumers, the taste evolved, their habits evolved, they got exposure, and they started demanding more. And what we realized was that if one has to go out and, you don't have so much of creative control when you acquire the property. It's a ready-made property that you go out and all you have to do is make a little bit of tweak with the help of dubbing, but you don't have the creative control. With local characters, what we could manage to do was tell the stories which we knew the children would be able to relate much better. So it was a very natural progression of things, and we started our journey in Nickelodeon if I have to say, as a network, we started our journey in 2010. Today we are almost creating 8 properties, right? Starting from Akimon, Motu Patlu, Shiva, Rudra, Gattu Battu, and so many of them. So this was a natural progression, and as I said, I mean, before also, that one of the reasons we have creative control, we are able to utilize these characters on different platforms because we control the IP. And the relatability with children, the characters are so strong. Relatability, longevity, it gives us that control, and that was these were the various factors which basically drove us in creating local
Kavita, I think you have to answer because you've just picked up some 3 international content as of December. So yeah, it's something different
we buy
now.
Content, but the thing is, like, we treat it differently. In fact, our preschool band has been hosted by mothers. Every day the mothers will come there and they will probably anchor the whole band. Similarly, we have got a news segment. Every day we offer new segments for kids. We just wanted the kids to know, like, no superhero is there to save us. We are here and we need to take care of ourselves. Apart from fantasy, apart from adventure, we always treat it with some localness, and we meet our kids on a daily basis. We have got a mascot, channel mascot, Singhu. Not Singhu. So Singhu, who goes, and meets kids on a daily basis to connect. We make it more tangible for the kids to, realize that they are living here and this is just an entertainment platform and they need to do something based on that. So that is pretty much our strategy.
News, etc.
Yeah, we have got a daily news for children because we always think that it's very important for them to understand what is going around them. We talk about cybercrime, we talk about so much, and they are into social media. And today it's our responsibility, being a responsible broadcaster. I think it's always our duty, apart from bark ratings or revenue, whatever, it's our duty that we need to groom them parallelly, when you offer content. So that is what we have been doing through our strategy.
You are the Bollywood man on this.
So Indian original with a lot of relatability, definitely, and contemporary in a manner, with the Rohit Shetty DNA.
Okay, Lokesh, question to you because you said this. This is on the branded content which applies to most everybody here. You said that branded content works, but it's a slow growth. And all of them over here, from a monetization perspective, obviously would believe in a lot of branded content, brand integrations. That is a new monetization. So can we have your view on that?
No, I've always been a big fan of branded content rather than the brand integration, because brand integration is something which is very short term for tactical objectives.
Correct.
But branded content will always give you a long term benefit if you have patience for it. It is a slow burn, but once it establishes and the content is relatable to your target audience, it is always going to pay back, whether it is a MasterChef, whether it is a Coke Studio, whether it is anything, it is always going to pay back. Content, as we see, and most of the times it is confused with integration. I think it's branded content, as we talk about. It gives you an opportunity to tell your story not in your face. And it's something that I think impresses consumers more, and brands love that in that way.
So is that a new business model now, besides just the CPRPs?
No, definitely, like great opportunity over there, and brand integration, branded content. But point over here is whether the synergies of storytelling through the character match with, like, the value, like, proposition of the brand itself. And if you can bring them together, like, then there's nothing, like,
I think the only thing we need to stay away from is overselling within the branded content. That is like branded guys always will think that.
Okay, they're just giving me all dirty looks from there. Both of them have already come on stage. Okay, one very important thing without which I don't think I can close this. Okay, it's TV versus digital, very, very critical where kids are concerned. Okay, I want to hear all your views on TV versus the digital, especially where kids are concerned, because kids today obviously have they are empowered today. They have the access to mobiles, they have access to iPads, and they can go and look at content if they want to. What do you have to say on that?
No, I think it's more relatable within the kids categories compared to the GEC categories, because kids at home always have the second right to watch the TV. And when they don't have that right of watching the TV, they always turn into the second screen. And it has proved wonders for us, at least. Whether you do an in-game integration, whether you do a YouTube campaign, whether you do a OTT campaign, whether you go in any direction of content, the content that they want to consume, they'll hunt it down on internet. If you don't have it on TV, they'll hunt it down. I think it's much more realistic to say that digital is here to stay. Whether we say TV will grow or not, it'll of course grow. I'm not against TV. But digital is something that nobody should be ignoring here.
I would say that TV is here to stay, because if you see that, and in the earlier panel we said that there is a lot of scope in terms of penetration, because currently we are only at 66%. But yes, digital is very, very important, and kids are actually moving on the second screen, which is mobile. But TV is here, TV will definitely gonna stay for a long, long time.
I mean, this is what I love about India, actually, because it's very unique in a lot of senses. All across the world, it's the opposite, and here we are, like, television is going to stay, and definitely for the kids category,
But it is a challenge for the broadcasters, though, to
It is a challenge, yes. No, we're not denying it. We're not blind for it. Like, of course, we don't want to get the, like, floor shift under us. But the thing is, for kids category, heroes are being made on television, as I said. Like, they're not... Even if you have OTT players out there who are investing money, but I've not seen one great character investment come from OTT platform. It's first driven by a broadcaster, and then it drives to the OTT. So yes, television for a while. We've just realized our strength, so I'm biased towards that for a while.
No, so I agree. I mean, this is a question which has been asked to me repeatedly. Is television under threat? I will
not say it is under threat.
I will only talk from the point of view of kids category, and I've repeatedly said no, and very categorically said no, it's not under threat. Just to give you an example, we recently, see, it also depends on what is the kind of audience that we are talking about. Are we talking about audience sitting only in metros? Then it's a separate ballgame. But if we are looking at audience sitting in a smaller town, I'll give you a very small example. We recently did a small research, and we obviously spoke to kids about, so what do you think? Are you watching content on your phone? How much of access do you have to your phone? They said, yeah, we do get a little bit of access, but we don't enjoy watching it on phone because, one, the screen is very small and the audio is not good. Now, this is the audience that we are going after. And as long as this, so as a result of all this, and when you go through the research and you talk to the kids closely, is when you realize TV is here to stay for a long time. The OTT platforms will continue to grow. Today, children go, especially kids, are watching or using OTT platform, and I'm not talking about kids in big metros. I'm talking about kids in smaller metros, or smaller cities, they're going to the digital platform to basically see if they have missed something or if they want to watch a repeat. It is not that that is not their primary platform. For them, the primary platform is TV, and TV is here to stay for a good number of years.
Kavita, lastly you, because you have said you don't, TV is there.
Going forward, I think we all know that we are living in interesting times. The dynamics are changing. So I think, like, knowing the technology, kids are driving us into the age of connecting the platform. So we really need to get on to different mediums. Even though we play on TV, we should some way or other connect the other mediums to, get connected. That's what I feel. Like, I hope you.
So all the dirty looks with these two standing there smiling at me from,
no,
from there.
It's working.
I have to leave it halfway. Okay. Any questions from the audience? Maybe just one or two, or
any family planning questions?
No. Actually, we have very less people with kids here, so. Okay, so thank you very much for this, and we will keep continuing to discuss this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, panelists. Please step forward. We'll do a photo op, and we'd like to share our mementos with you.